So in this video, I'm going to talk about children's theatre and what we discussed in the PowerPoint in our lesson. Um, so to start off then, we talked about when we hear children's theatre, what do we think of and what does it make us feel? So we got here panto, because obviously panto is mainly for children and like families. So we've got puppets as well, Punch and Judy, for example, and many others. We've also got we put it down here, interactives. Obviously, a lot of children's companies and children's theatre companies interact with their audience. Touring companies, again, they might be interactive, but they're touring, so meaning they go around primary schools, or even secondary schools like year 7, maybe year 8, and interact and tour around the UK for them, or even outside of the UK. Comedic, obviously, they make it really funny. Some are very educational, but a lot of it is to entertain and be very comedic. Slapstick comedy, again, that relates to comedic, again, so the fact that it is quite funny and they're putting their point across to the audience. Not complicated words, meaning it's very simple for the kids to understand what the company, for example, are saying. So doing that, meaning that it's easier for them to understand and easy to follow a storyline, for example, in a panto. You won't see very many big words in a panto because the children won't understand and they won't know what's going on. Again, yeah, so relating to that, a simple message. So, again, could be a simple storyline or a simple way of putting your point across there. But again, simple message. Lots of color. When I think of color, I think like blues, greens, reds, and like lots of bright color. When I say color, it could be mean color on the lights. Obviously, kids like flashing lights and big colors, so big effects and big colors there. Again, which relates to musicals because kids like musicals, songs, dances. So that's what you sort of think about when you think about children's theatre there. So then we thought, who is it for? Children's theatre is for different types of groups, ages, not necessarily just for children, meaning it could be for families with children as well, and the parents will enjoy it. So obviously, we think maybe age probably primary school, maybe secondary school, year 7 again, maybe year 8. So parents and families, obviously that what I just talked about preschool. Now you can do there's companies that do shows for preschool children, nurseries, children with special needs, youth groups, rainbow and brownies. So all of these types of children's the like types of who is it for the children is all sort of kids mainly. Obviously nursery and preschool you can get shows to educate, more educational and more the kids will enjoy it more. Maybe more preschool is more about entertainment, but maybe nursery is quite a lot of educational. It's getting increasing now, the amount of the amount of companies that are getting bigger due to the fact that teaching nursery. Yeah, so there's that one. So then we talked about what is the purpose. Again, we listed 3 things, but I'm going to talk about one for me. So what is children's theatre for, and what is its purpose? So children's theatre is, we listed 3: entertain, again, comedic, bright colours, songs, dances, educate, and inform. So these are the 3 ones we'd locked it down. Again, it doesn't in children's theatre. It doesn't have to be all 3 of them. One might just have an educational purpose, meaning they're teaching someone when there's not really a lot of entertainment in it. A lot of them will have entertainment though, due to the fact it's kids and they may get bored very easily. Yeah. So, the main 2, I think, from mainly across just children's theatre overall, is to educate and entertain. Yeah, just checking I got that right. So educate and entertain, because as long as entertainment's great and like for a panto, it's just entertainment. Whereas if you put on a show that's got a bit of education in it as well as entertainment, I think that's good and you could put a point across there. A company we researched called Strike a Light, not Strike a Light, lightning strike, they put they do it for kids, and they do it very simple, and their storyline is to educate as well as entertain. So that's why I probably listed it on that one there. Yeah, so thinking about our target audience, it will probably be 5+, 6+, due to the fact maybe young people might not understand it as much, maybe it's too much of a complicated storyline, whereas 5 years plus and a panto, again, will lift that up there. So let's have a look here. So what are the needs and techniques we can use to help a panto go further, or children's theatre go further? So we talked about like to laugh. So again, not too serious. There will be some serious parts in it that make the audience feel engaged, but they need it to be fun, and they need it to be a lot more interesting. So talking about engage, again, short attention span and humour, for example, it needs to have those three in there. Interaction is key. You need to keep them engaged at all times to make sure the audience don't get bored at all. There's that for that one. To make sure they feel included, and feel like they need their emotional security there for them. This is another big key one, because if they are consistently getting changed, they may not feel included as well as some of the other children. Things to catch their eye. So again, big lights, songs of dances, big numbers, the big starting number, big closing number. So they're always engaged at all times. It's always linking back to that engaging sort of thing. Limited scare. So obviously kids get frightened easily. So it's the slightest scare. It's nothing serious at all. So they're always, even if there is a little bit of like a villain, for example, in a panto, they will boo them and not feel scared that anything's going to have bad happen to them. Again, simple language for them to understand. That's the main key. We've talked about that one. Short attention span than an adult. Obviously, we think about that. Like, they've got a much shorter attention span than their parents, for example. So we need to make sure it is okay for them as well as their parents. Again, having breaks in interval and breaks of character will help them a lot there. So we thought of what kind of play could we do, or what examples are there. So obviously there's educational, so obviously you think like road, bike, stranger, drugs, internet, bullying, safety. Those are all educational purposes when put on a children's theatre. Or there's stories, so you got the classics, examples like Hercules, you got myths and legends, for example, King Arthur, Robin Hood, fairy tales, for example, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Jack and the Beanstalk. Fiction, for example, Batman, Superman. Adapts to children's stories, for example, Gruffalo, Peppa Pig, Noddy, Maury Towers, The Boy in a Dress, Matilda, BFG, Horrid Henry. All these are examples of story, and how children's theatre companies use them in that way. So then we talk about what are the features, or what are the features of all children's theatre companies. So what is out of all the children's theatre company, what do they have? So comedy, all its interaction, exaggerated characters and movement, references to prior knowledge using fairy tale stories, songs and dances, simple language, colourful, and repetition of power three. Repetition of the power of three. I mean, so when someone goes to hit someone, they duck. And so they go back and hit them again, they duck, and then for the third time, boom, that's when they hit. It keeps the audience going, and then it hits it, so it builds it up, and then it's more of a laugh when, obviously, say the person does get hit, for example. So we thought, what could be suitable, what do we think would be suitable for children's play? So obviously, our ideas, we had a panto. Why? Because it would be near Christmas time. We've got a very large cast, and we've got more male roles than female roles, meaning that in the panto there's a lot of male roles. Circus play, we talked about that, but we thought, why not? We could have done, but we don't really have a lot of skills. We thought about nativity, but then we got to think about the rights. Adaptation of a children's book, again, rights, money. Educational, again, look, we're coming up to Christmas, so it's probably the wrong time of the year, but we could do an educational one because it could link to Christmas, so it could be safety of fire with the lights on a Christmas tree or anything like that. we could do there. Sorry, I just got all the ones we did. So we had a talk together, and obviously we talked about a pantomime being a very good choice. Yeah, we talked about pantomime being a good choice and how we could use a pantomime. I'm just reading that to make sure we did that right then. So yeah, a pantomime definitely a good choice because, again, romance story. A lot of people like romance story. There's a villain which a lot of people like, and they don't always become good, but they always could become bad. A dame, we also again male roles. So obviously when we did the research into panto, we looked at all these things. So a female lead dressed as a man, it could be songs, dances, colour, user random stories, audience interaction. All these are talked about but are good features of a panto. Yeah. So we obviously did all of us as a class did different research to different pantos. So we did research such as Jack and the Beanstalk, Cinderella, Dick Whittington, Beauty and the Beast, Robin Hood, Sleeping Beauty, and Aladdin. So we all did research into pantos, and then we all put our ideas together. Well, I say ideas, and put all our ideas and discussed each one, what each one has. So a lot of them had dames, a lot of them had a villain, a lot of them had a simple storyline, one had a romantic storyline. For example, Cinderella. So obviously you got Beauty and the Beast. So all these have like a romantic storyline, and obviously Aladdin. Obviously had the princess as well as having Aladdin. So we all put our ideas together and thought, we're definitely doing a panto, but what panto should we do? So we all discussed, and we thought, obviously, I'll just get the ones that we did. So Jack and the Beanstalk, there's a lot of male roles, there's not really a lot of female roles in it, so we thought maybe not as much. Cinderella, we did that last year, not last year, the year before, sorry, so maybe it's being a repeat. Then we thought about Dick Whittington, maybe not. And then we talked about Aladdin, and we thought, actually, nowhere around locally is doing Aladdin. Again, so that's a really good thing. No one around doing Aladdin, so they'd be intrigued, oh, there's Aladdin, so we'll go to that one, because there's no one else, the Everyman, they're doing Cinderella. And again, that's the reason why we didn't do Cinderella. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty, there's one in Bristol, so obviously, again. So we thought Aladdin would be our actual main research, and that is going to be the one we decided to do. So why did we choose Aladdin? So we chose Aladdin because it's got a dame. Again, we have more rail roles. It's a very large cast. Again, having a large cast meaning we got a big chorus number. Again, Aladdin have chorus and songs, dances, and all that kind of stuff. Again, having a big cast, we can double cast it. Again, I've totally talked about it, but nowhere around locally is doing Aladdin. Again, that's a really good thing because we can sell it even more, and get more money from that. Again, at primary schools, it's a simple storyline. Primary schools, if we taught it to primary schools or took it to primary schools, they would understand it very easily, whereas Dick Whittington may be quite hard to understand. So yeah, the main key points why we chose Aladdin are the ones I just explained. So yeah.